I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I want to ask you guys some questions and I want you to answer them because I think this is helpful for our minds and it stimulates our brains in terms of biblical prophecy because we know that there's some things that need to take place and the question is how is it going to take place? But the questions that I'm going to ask you are all going to end the same and they are going to end with the question of who is going to get the credit? That's all I want you guys to think about. I just want you to answer for yourself who is going to get the credit. And this is only applicable if you believe that we are living in the last days. If you believe that the rapture could occur today, then I just want you to answer the question, who would get the credit? And so let's dive into the questions. So we all are aware of chemtrails, right? So the chemtrails, they're spraying stuff, all this kind of stuff. This is nothing new. I just want you to understand that that's still going on. And so the question on the table is, when that stops, who is going to get the credit? The other question that's on the table is, we all know that they're doing stuff and putting stuff in our food, and that is still going on. But when that stops, who is going to get the credit? Another thing to consider is our taxes. There's a whole bunch of tax talk going on in the news lately, and the question on the table is, if income tax goes away, property tax goes away, it's going to be saving Americans thousands and thousands of dollars, which is a lot of money from the normal person. And so if those go away, who is going to get the credit? Another thing to consider is the wars. There's a whole bunch of wars going on right now. There's a whole bunch of rumors of wars going on right now. And so there's need for peace. There's longing for peace. And so if that is achieved, I want you to answer the question again, who is going to get the credit? Now, this is the last question because I think it's the biggest one. Right now, we are all aware of Epstein files, right? We're all aware of it. The question on the table, though, is how come it hasn't been released yet? We know that they have all the information, but here's what I would like for you to consider in that arena. They are not releasing it yet. I would argue that they are going to wait for a very strategic time. And so again, with the whole question in the background of our minds of who is going to get the credit, I think the one thing that we all as human beings can understand and unite under is that the mistreatment of children is the worst thing ever. It's the absolute worst thing ever. Even terrible criminals who are locked up for some pretty bad stuff, even they can rally under the idea of the mistreatment of children is absolutely terrible. And so the idea that I'm proposing to you is that if those files come out, it's going to be like a checkmate type situation because it's going to rally all the hearts and minds of everyone across the globe. And I think that that is significant. But again, since they have this information, the question is why haven't they released it? I would propose to you that they are waiting for a very, very strategic time to win the hearts and minds of the people on the earth. Because even Christians and even lost people, they can all agree that that is the most terrible thing in the world, right? And so that's the one arena where people are just willing to really, really unite under. And it's because of children, right? Like that is like sacred territory right there. You don't touch the kids. And so when this is released, when the names are released, there's going to be judgment that is placed on those individuals who are involved, and it's going to be a whole thing. It's going to be a global thing. Think about that. That is going to send shockwaves throughout the world. And again, what I want you to consider is who is going to get the credit. And so this leads us into Revelation chapter 13. So in Revelation 13, this is during the tribulation time period, and it says in verse 4, it says, "So they worshiped the dragon who gave authority to the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, 'Who is like the beast, and who is able to make war with him?'" So there's going to be somebody who shows up, and the world or the people on the earth during that time period, they're going to look at this guy, whoever this Antichrist is, and they're going to look at him, and they're going to be like, this guy is unlike anybody else. There's never been anybody who can even hold a candle to this guy. And so this Antichrist has been going out. He was conquering, and he is still going out to conquer, Revelation 6:2. And it's remarkable seeing this kind of stuff. And so this Antichrist is going to have a resume or credentials as long as your driveway. This guy is going to just be able to outperform and outdo anybody in terms of conquering, politically and, out in the world and whatnot, militarily speaking, all of these things, he's going to have it all. And so this is why the world is going to say, who is like the beast? Because there's not going to be anybody who has done all of the things that this one individual has done. So he's going to have a long list of accomplishments, and he's going to let you know that it was him who did it. He's going to say, this was me. I did this. I did this. I did this. I did this. I did all of these things. And so I don't know who the Antichrist is, but I think it's healthy and instructive in certain ways to kind of run these scenarios through our minds, because it allows us to, number one, it lets us realize where we're at in our understanding. But remember, in 1 Thessalonians 5, Paul tells us that we are not of the day, or we are not of the night, we are of the day, which is basically Paul saying that it's not going to surprise us when the rapture occurs, because we're going to be seeing signs all over the place. And so just like how you and I can tell that Christmas is right around the corner because of all the decorations that are set up, the same thing is true in terms of end times. And so that's what we're trying to do here. And I don't know who it is. Nobody knows. The Antichrist is not going to be officially revealed until 3.5 years into the tribulation. And that's when he's going to go into the third temple. He's going to sit as God, and he's going to be like, I'm God. You're going to worship me. And so that's when, in Matthew 24, Jesus says, let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. He's like, when you see that abomination of desolation and standing in the holy place, let them who are in Judea flee to the mountains. And so you have this whole line of questioning, and you can ask those questions, who will get the credit? That question, who will get the credit? You can ask that and apply that to anything that you are aware of right now. Be like, hey, there's a terrible thing that is over here. If that goes away, who's going to get the credit? If this over here stops and this happens, who's going to get the credit? And so another question to ask yourself is, if there's peace over there in the Middle East, which has never been able to been achieved before, who's going to get the credit? You have all of these questions that I think would be healthy for us to kind of at least entertain. And again, I'm not making any definitive statements because I don't know who it is. But I think that it's important to pay attention to what's going on around us and ask these kind of questions, because the Bible talks about prophecy. So the Bible is like 1/3, 33% of the Bible is roughly prophecy. And so there's a lot of things that are happening right now, and it's hard to keep up with it all. But if you believe that we are living in the last days, if you believe that the rapture could occur in our lifetime, then answer those questions, and who do you come up with? I have no idea. It's an opinion. But the whole idea though, at the end of the day, is if you believe that the rapture could occur right now, I don't want you to be focused on the Antichrist. I just want you to be under the possibility that he could be around right now. And if you agree, if you see it that way as well, then I need you to understand you are very important right now. If you believe that the rapture could occur today, then you need to understand, if you're a born-again believer, you are vital. We need you. We need you to go out there and tell people about Jesus, because there are souls that are at stake. And so sitting back and relaxing and just saying and just being aware of it is not good enough. We need to be telling people, we need to be going out there. No matter where you are, that is where your mission field is. I'm not saying to go sell all your stuff and go move into a jungle somewhere. I'm just saying, when you go to the park, look for a way to tell somebody about Jesus. If you go walk your dog, look for a way to tell somebody about Jesus. We need to be doing that because souls are at stake. We need to be telling people about the gospel, which can be found in 1 Corinthians 15, that Jesus died according to the scriptures, that he was buried, and that he rose again on the third day according to the scriptures. And it is for by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. Guys, this is important. I don't want you to be focusing on the Antichrist. I want you to be focusing on Jesus Christ. Keep your eyes on him, because we are one day closer to home.